Hi everybody, wanted to say hope you're having a happy and healthy weekend. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about one of my favorite topics and a great way for you to be able to start your week off fresh and healthy. Gut health, very important for any of you who have ever experienced a gut feeling, for having butterflies in your stomach, being sick to your stomach, pit feeling, all of those things really make a lot of sense from a neurological and a scientific standpoint. So our gut literally functions as our second brain, and we have those kind of feelings because our stomach and our brain are made up of the same tissue. They're actually connected through the 10th cranial nerve, which runs from our brainstem to the top of our abdomen. So for any of you who have ever kind of had that something happens in your stomach, pit of your stomach, you feel it, you're thinking something, there's a reason for that. Another reason, we actually have more bacterial DNA than we do human DNA in our body. We have a 10-to-1 ratio of bacteria to cells in our body. And the reason that our stomach or our second brain or our inner tube of life, as some people call it, has such an influence over the rest of our health is because we actually have 3 pounds of bacteria that line our intestinal tract. So we have 400 different types of species of bacteria in our stomach as well. So that definitely plays a big role on our overall health and feelings of happiness and, smiling from your tummy, all things that are really important. If you were to actually lay out the cells of our stomach, it would be about the size, the surface area of our stomach would be the size of a tennis court, but it's actually only 1 cell layer thick. So there's a lot of things that can influence what kind of things get into our stomach that make us feel good and what kind of things stay out of our stomach to keep us healthy. So gut health is really important for a couple things. One of the main functions is it helps us absorb food, absorb minerals, break down food, and be able to actually assimilate those nutrients into our bodies. So food is information for our cells, and in order to get that information to our cells, we have to make sure that our gut health is in check. Another thing that our stomach does is it actually helps keep bad things out. So it helps keep toxins out, it helps eliminate toxins from our body, and it works to keep us healthy because 80% of our immune system lies in our stomach. Our stomach also helps us feel good and lets us know when we're feeling full because one of our main hormones, serotonin, is found in our stomach. 95% of serotonin is made in our stomach. A fun fact about a lot of neurotransmitters is actually we have more neurotransmitters in our stomach than we do in our brain, and every single neurotransmitter that is found in our brain is found in that stomach. So something like serotonin, which helps us feel good and tells us when we are had enough to eat, 95% of that is made in our stomach. Another role that our stomach does is it actually helps create good things for us. Vitamin K is made in our stomach, and biotin, which is a really important B vitamin, is made in our stomach as well, which is important for our skin health and for our cell health. So some other jobs that our stomach does is just helping us keep us balanced. If you want to have a balanced brain, you have to have a balanced stomach. And in order to kind of enhance that, we want to make sure that we're doing a couple things. One, we want to avoid stress. Whenever we're stressed, our digestive system, one of the first things it does is shut down. It's not of physiological importance for us to digest food, so we want to make sure that we're keeping our stress levels low, kind of trying to go with the flow, just be in the moment and just relax. Too much bad bacteria can also affect how healthy our gut is. Something like sugar actually acts as a fertilizer to bad bacteria in our stomach, so we want to make sure that we're avoiding a lot of sugar and a lot of processed foods because that's going to kill that good ratio of good bacteria to bad bacteria. And we want to make sure that we're not using too many antibiotics or over-the-counter drugs like antacids and things like that. So some ways that you can, help promote good bacteria: eating whole real foods, eating fermented foods, eating bitter herbs, things like dandelion and licorice root, and also taking probiotics. Probiotics actually comes from the Greek term meaning for life, so it's going to actually help create more good bacteria in your stomach. Lastly, the way that you can test if your bowel movements are working well is something called an at-home transit time test. So all you need for this is a notebook and a cup of beets and some personal time. You are going to eat a cup of beets on an empty stomach. You're going to write down what time you ate those beets, and then you're going to also write down what time you have your first bowel movement. You want to write down when your bowels start to look red. They should be red from the beets. An ideal time is 8 to 14 hours. Anything longer than that is going to mean that the food is sitting too long in our colon and it's actually not being broken down, and it can actually eventually leak into our bloodstream, causing things like a headache, feeling fatigued, gas, bloating, all bad things. If it's not in our system long enough and our transit time is less than 8 hours, chances are we're not absorbing or breaking down any of the foods, and we're actually becoming deficient in a lot of important nutrients and minerals. So make sure that you have happy, healthy gut. Make sure we're drinking clean, filtered water, not stressing out, and eating a whole food diet, and just being happy and healthy. Have a great week. Ciao.